I've been learning Czech every single day for the past year, but I'm not here to make some sensational YouTube video about how I'm the greatest learner of all time and I'm going to shock the natives, because I'm still pretty mediocre at Czech. Instead, I generally want to talk about my language learning and give you some hopefully inspirational thoughts and advice. Over the past 12 months, I've put in over 630 hours of immersion time, for an average of about an hour 45 per day. That's nothing superhuman, but still a very solid routine. However, the thing that I'm very proud of is my consistency. Because if we look at my graph by the day, you'll notice that every single day is pretty much exactly the same. I always hit my goal. And there's a couple reasons I made this my primary goal when I was learning Czech. The first one is that it lets me to have distinct stages and increase my time as I go on. I started with an hour a day and now I do 2.5 per day. And the second reason is that I want to show in these videos that consistency is key. You don't have to be able to put in 5+ hours of language learning per day to make incredible progress. Fitting in learning where you can and doing that consistently can help you reach high heights no matter your situation. And my weird quirk of always hitting exactly my goal is more the fact that I learn before work and not anything after, so it all just gets put into one bunch at the beginning of the day. I'm recording this video a little bit after my 1-year anniversary, so I actually have about 660 hours, give or take. So how far has that gotten me, and what am I going to do in the future? I'm really happy with where I am with Czech. Having fun in the language is not hard at all. I've watched a bunch of TV shows, I'm almost done reading and listening to the entire Harry Potter series, and I chat with Czech natives pretty regularly. Sure, I still have a long way to go in terms of my word knowledge and processing speed, but that's not really getting in the way of my enjoyment of the language. Recently I've been listening a lot more, and that also doesn't really cause me any problems. My biggest barrier in the language right now is just knowing not enough words. That's all that I really have to say about my level, which I know isn't that descriptive. So I want to tell you about something that I did fairly recently that might give you a better picture of my current abilities. A few days ago, I found a video on YouTube talking about the history of Czech YouTube and one YouTuber specifically. And I was able to watch that video and understand the story and learn about this person. It also sent me down a rabbit hole clicking on YouTube channels and videos from a decade ago and watching snippets from here and there and learning about this history and story. That's something that I couldn't have done a few months ago because it was all in Czech and I was having a good time. I did that for almost an hour without even thinking about the language really as being in the way. And that's pretty cool if you ask me. And of course, I saved all of my findings into the Czech database that I'm curating. So if you're a learner of Czech or are just curious, go to the link refold.link/Czech to see all those resources I found. I think the best way to sum up my general Czech abilities is that I'm able to sit, watch, and enjoy YouTube without any supports. For the past couple weeks, I've been able to watch over an hour of YouTube per day easily. I'm not forcing myself to learn, and it doesn't feel like I have to do my Czech now. This whole past year of learning Czech has been super rewarding and valuable, not only for my own language learning, but also for understanding the process and myself better. I work for Refold, and so I end up thinking about language learning for well over 40 hours per week. But actually going through these steps and learning a language from zero again has really helped me to understand the process that much better by putting myself into the shoes of a real learner, which I am. I already knew that consistency was king, because that's what worked for me with Spanish, but doing it again with Czech was really helpful to see it from a different angle, if that makes any sense. And I actually want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about our course. About 1.5 years ago, the Refold team and I worked incredibly hard to build the best language learning course that we possibly could. We poured our heart, soul, and combined decades of experience into making the best resource for beginner language learners that we can. It's so useful that even intermediate and advanced learners have said that they've learned some really valuable lessons by going through the course. However, when we made it, we specifically had in mind people that have been struggling with their language learning for some reason or another. And I think a really good example of that is my mother. She's not the kind of person that could have ever learned a language on her own. Not because she didn't want to, but because it wasn't high enough on her priorities list to go out and do the research and figure out the process and then execute all that just on her own. However, when I invited her to be part of the test group for the course, she said, of course, and has learned Spanish every single day since then, for also more than a year. We focus on giving you lessons and tips and activities that you can do that day so that you're not overwhelmed with information and you can just start executing on your language learning plan as you build it. This approach takes away a lot of the decision making and makes it more approachable for a lot of people. I present every single day of the course, all 30 days. And the entire Refold coaching team is in the private Discord server to answer any questions that you have or to help you get unstuck along the way. So if you like these videos but need a little bit of extra help getting this implemented yourself, make sure to check the link below. Or if you like these videos and already have a solid process, keep this course in mind to recommend to friends and family who say that they want to get into language learning, but you don't have the time to personally coach them. Anyway, let's get back to my Czech learning, because I'm now starting to look towards the future. I'm about to hit 700 hours of learning and then do a sprint to 1,000 hours. I'll be jamming in another 40% of my immersion time into that 3-month stretch, which is really helpful because just a few weeks ago, I wasn't so sure that I'd be ready to output in July. I was feeling a little bit underwhelmed with my ability. However, just the past couple dozen hours of immersion have really helped to make me feel that I am ready. Plus, I did the math and realized that 300 hours is almost half of what I've done already, so I'm going to be fine, I know it. I've talked here and there about my approach to output in the past. However, I want to lay it out a little bit more clear here since we've been talking a lot about this internally on the Refold team. In our experience, you need about 200 hours of solid output to bring your output ability up to where it feels like it should be. You're not going to be able to speak exactly like you can understand. We can't even do that in our native languages. However, it's not going to feel like you're at a completely different level inside your head versus what you can do, if that makes sense. It's a really common experience for immersion learners when they start outputting to sound pretty good to other learners and natives, but sound incredibly awkward to themselves. It's this sort of reverse imposter syndrome thing. And this output hump takes about 50 hours to get over. You're going to feel kind of awkward and choppy in those first 50 hours, just as you're building muscle memory and comfort with the language. And so my goal for the first couple months will just to become comfortable with my output. I'm not even going to try to correct any mistakes or errors unless they're really getting in the way of my message coming through. I will try to be aware of my mistakes just so that I don't keep making them, but it's not my purpose to correct those yet. That's the first of the 4 dimensions that I'm going to focus on with my output. Comfort. The next one is accuracy, which has to do with actually being correct and coherent when I use the language. But that comes after being comfortable. And then after accuracy, I'll be focusing on automaticity, which is what we call it when that accuracy is just easy and natural. After that, all that's left to do is to expand my capability, which is being able to be accurate and comfortable and automatic in a lot of different scenarios and settings and themes and topics, that sort of thing. Over the course of 6.5 months, I'll be doing an hour of output per day, focusing on building my skills so that when I go to the Czech Republic after 2 years of learning and over 1,500 hours, I'm going to sound pretty coherent and fluent in the language. I'd say that I can't wait for that time to come, but I can. This entire process has been super rewarding and interesting and fun, and so I'm looking forward to being there for the entire thing. However, that being said, I can't freaking wait! Let's go! Anyway, over all that time, I'm going to be making a bunch of videos about output and my progress with Czech, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. But that's everything that I have for this 1-year update. Take this time to write me down in the comments and let me know how your language learning is going. Where are you at and what are you doing in the future? Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you check out the course link down in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy immersing!
I'm here to drop some knowledge, listen up with your ears. I got a language learning method, gonna make it crystal clear. It's called Refold, the game changer, gonna blow your mind. Immerse yourself in media, fluency you will find.